everyone, welcome to Blue Coach Travel. Here we talk about ocean cruising and all things Disney. Now, if that sounds like something interesting to you, make sure you hit that subscribe button, the bell notification, and don't forget the thumbs up so you can be notified anytime we have a new video. So today we are going to talk about our recent trip where we had a couple of days at Disney before we went on our very first ever Royal Caribbean cruise. So today we're going to talk about how we got there and our travel day. I'm also going to describe how we went from staying here to staying here. So our travel day started out a little different than normal. We were actually leaving from a different airport. We live in Des Moines, Iowa. So usually we leave out of the Des Moines International Airport, but we were visiting some family up north. So the closest airport for us to leave from was actually the Minneapolis airport. So we were leaving from a different airport and we're leaving at a different time of day that we usually do. So usually in Des Moines, you're taking a really, really early flight in the morning or a really late flight in the evening. So this flight, we were actually supposed to leave at 2:35. So very odd time, just in the late afternoon. And so we had some time in the morning to hang out with family before we needed to head to the airport. We usually try to get to the airport at least a couple of hours in advance, or leave for the airport in a couple hours in advance before we need to get on the plane, just so we have time to get our luggage situated. And if we have to check it, make sure that we check our luggage. And then, of course, the long part, which is going through security. Now, this particular flight was our first time that we got to use our TSA pre-check. And so we were so excited for not having to go through a long line and not have to take out our liquids bag, not have to take out our small electronics, and then of course not take off our shoes. But it was a big wah-wah when we got to the airport, because when we got to security, there really wasn't very many people there. The regular security line went almost as fast as the TSA pre-check. So now the good things were, we didn't have to take out all of our stuff. We just kept it all in there and put our bags through the scanners, and we didn't have to take off our shoes. So there was a bonus. We were able to get through security in actually less than 15 minutes. So it did go very fast. And the first thing we usually do is go right to our gate and see if there's anything around that we might need. Grab something to eat, restroom, that type of thing. It was lunchtime, so we were definitely ready to grab some lunch, and then we just hung out and wait for the plane. It was a little bit late. We were supposed to, it was supposed to leave at 2:35, and we were not able to board. I have some notes down here, so I'm going to look at. So we didn't get to board until 2:40. So, but the boarding process went very, very quickly, very easily. I was able to check in the 24 hours in advance. We were flying Southwest. So if you've ever flown Southwest, they don't assign seats. So you basically just get a boarding group, just like every other airline, A, B, C, D. But then you get a number, and that's basically where you line up when they start calling the different boarding groups. So because I got that 24 hours in advance, I was able to get boarding group A, which I was very excited about. But we were like 49 and 50. Luckily, the plane was not full, so the boarding process went super, super quick. When we got on the plane, we headed towards the back because we were hoping that one, we would get some of that overhead bin space, and two, we were hoping that, since it wasn't a full flight, that maybe we would not have that third person in our row. Now, I did pack a little differently for this flight because we were doing that kind of 2-in-1 vacation. And so I wanted something where I was going to bring a carry-on, but I wanted it to easily fit in the overhead bin. So I did bring basically a large weekender. It fit very, very easily. I just grabbed out my water bottle so I'd have that on the flight. And I had packed a separate, like, smaller plastic bag to hold my essentials that I need on the flight, like one of my iPad, Kindle, that kind of thing. And that for takeoff, I just put under the seat, and that worked really well. That way I didn't have to get up and get into the overhead bin, and my carry-on fit very well up there. So that really worked out. And we did luck out and didn't have that third person in our row. So that was nice too. It made for a nice flight. The flight was about 3.5 hours long, and the pilots did get us there a little bit early, actually. So we were supposed to land at 7 o'clock. They got us there at 6:49. And really the longest thing after that was really waiting for our luggage. So that took, it was over 45 minutes for that process to take. And as far as getting a ride, I had reserved an Uber in advance. And we've done different ways of getting to Disney. Uber is definitely one of them. And that's usually what I choose if it's just my husband and I. Because one, it gets us quicker from the airport to our resort for about the same cost as it would cost us to ride on the Mears Connect. Now, depending on how many people there are, when we were a family of 5, when my kids were little, I would be taking Mears Connect because it is just a bit more economical and can fit us better. Now, this last time that we went to Disney before this trip, the trip in February, we were actually with our grown children and their families. So there was basically 3 families. It was a party of 8. And we booked private transportation that pretty much cost the same per person than it would have if we would have done Mears Connect. And that way, again, we got there a little bit faster because the transportation was taking just our group from MCO to our resort. So we had, and so once we, I almost went too far ahead. So once we got our luggage, when I had reserved that Uber, I had put in our flight information. So they knew, when we were going to be there. So it was very easy. We just followed the signs as far as where to go in the airport. It was very well marked. And it was about 5 minutes that we had to wait for the Uber to pick us up and take us to a resort. And the time frame to get from MCO to our resort, which is Pop Century, was right about 30 minutes. And like I said, we had booked Pop Century, and when we got there, that is when we found out that our room was not actually available. So there had been something that had happened. I don't remember the exact reason, but something had happened with the room, and they weren't able to give it to us for our time there. They did upgrade us to a moderate resort, which is Coronado Springs. Now, even though this was an upgrade, so Pop Century is a value resort, Coronado Springs is a moderate resort, both very nice resorts. We have stayed at Coronado Springs before. It's beautiful. The bummer part for us was we were really looking forward to being able to stay at a resort that is on the Skyliner. We had never stayed at Pop Century before. We had stayed in the past at other value resorts. We had stayed at all the All-Stars, but we had never stayed at Pop Century, and we had not stayed at Art of Animation. Both of those are on the Skyliner, but unfortunately, Art of Animation wasn't available either. So they did, like I said, upgrade us to that moderate resort at Coronado Springs. Now they were, it was at this point, it's getting pretty late in the evening. We hadn't had anything to eat since we were at the Minneapolis airport. So, we were a little hangry, a little tired at this point. But they did, like I said, they got a taxi for us that took us over very, very quickly. Now, we had ordered groceries to be delivered, just a few things. That is one option to do. I like doing this because it does save a little bit of money, even if it's just, drinks, snacks, that type of thing, maybe breakfast items, because those are things that you can, if you have in your room, you can use that instead of paying Disney prices for those things. So, and I know we were only there really for maybe 1.5 days. So I had ordered like a 6-pack of water thinking, well, hopefully that's not going to be too much, because obviously a case would be a little much. But truthfully, we went through that. I could have actually ordered more. But we also ordered a few snack items. We ordered some breakfast bars. And my thought process was not only utilizing that while we were at Disney, but the morning before we got on the cruise ship, because you don't start getting fed on the cruise until lunchtime. And then of course on the plane ride home. So, and there was also a few things that I needed to purchase, and I just added that to this grocery order rather than buying it at home and carrying it down. I was buying it that week anyway, so I just added it to the grocery order. I added some sunscreen, some liquid IV, things like that. So we did have to go over to Bell Services to pick that up, but then we were on our way over to Coronado Springs. And like I said, Coronado Springs is a very, very nice resort. It's beautiful. We stayed there back in 2016. And there have been some updates since then. The rooms have been renovated, and also they built the Grandestino Tower. So instead of where the check-in used to be, now everybody checks in at the Grandestino, and it is absolutely a gorgeous building. This is a convention resort, so it's not overly Disney. So a lot of the value resorts are just very big, and there's big characters, there's lots of Disney, it's just, there's lots of theming. And at the Coronado Springs, it's much more, it's much more of a subtle hints of Disney rather than kind of really in your face Disney. So, but it's a beautiful resort. It's a moderate resort that is very, very close to, with some of the amenities that it has, very close to being a deluxe resort. So I'm going to pop in some footage I took of the room itself, and we're just kind of gonna put that in here and go through a room tour. So we were staying in room 3173, and as we come in the room, it is one of the best features I think in this room is the flooring. They have gotten rid of carpet and it is now hard surface floor, which I think is really great. I love when hotel rooms do that. So right when we walk in, we do have a chair, and next to that, obviously the coffee machine, which is a Keurig. We did use that for coffee, tea. It was very helpful. And then of course cups and the ice bucket. Now there is a mini fridge, and it is actually not a refrigerator, it's a beverage cooler, so nothing that needs to be refrigerated can be in there. They do have what's called Hey Disney, where you can ask certain questions just like Alexa. And there was plenty of area for drawers to unpack, and a nice full-length mirror to check your outfit for the day. This is, and they do have the garbage and the recycling bin. And we had two, I believe they're double beds, and best feature was a ceiling fan. And then over by between the beds, there was a nightstand that had some additional storage in it, and each bed did have lights above it that were controlled by the switches in the middle, and there was outlets, USB ports for each bed, so there's plenty of places to plug everything in. The light switches controlled the lights above the bed, then also the ceiling fan. And there were also reading lights that were next to the beds, which is really helpful. And then moving into the bathroom, it was a pretty good size. And there were these barn doors that would separate the bathroom from the rest of the room. So if somebody was getting ready, there could be some privacy for those that were in the rest of the room. And then the closet was nice and large. There were there were hangers, plenty of hangers, an extra pillow and blanket. There was also an ironing board, and there was a luggage rack along with a iron steamer. I didn't open it up, so I'm not sure which one it was. But plenty of room. I did hang up a few items, and it was very handy to have that. And there was extra storage off to the side to put, and it was the closet was very, very large, all the way up to the ceiling, floor to ceiling. But that extra storage off to the side, there was to put toiletries and things. That's what I utilized it for. Some outlets back there, and then more storage at the bottom. And bonus, this bathroom did have 2 sinks and extra storage down below, and a nice big mirror with the vanity lighted mirror as well. So that was very handy for getting ready in the morning. And then the separate area for the toilet and shower. The shower was nice, walk-in shower, very large, and it had the shower door, which my husband definitely appreciates. He hates the shower curtains. So that was very handy to have, easy to utilize, and very pretty that the updates that have been done. Nice dual shower heads, and which came in very handy. It was very hot while we were there. And also Disney did have the body wash, shampoo, and conditioner for use as well. So this very nice room. Like I said before, it is a convention hotel, so there was that desk area, you know, if you do need to get some work done. But I think the room looked very nice, not too over the top Disney, but definitely some Disney touches. Along with that, what I really appreciate is, I think is really fun, is to have your name on the room. Was very nice, and we did appreciate where we got to stay. We were in building 3, and it was very close to the main building where there was dining options. They have a couple of different dining options. They have a table service there. They have the quick service. That's the one we utilized that evening because it was getting later and we just wanted something quick. But we had, even though we just had bacon cheeseburgers, they were really good. So we appreciated that. Our quick dinner was very tasty. And they do also have kind of a sports bar called the Ricks that is there. And that building is also where the gift shop is located. So we were very close to that, but very surprising. We were also really close to a bus stop. It was just right behind our building through a parking lot. And we were also next to a fitness area, which truthfully we did not use. But what we did use next to the fitness area was a laundromat. And because yes, I did do laundry before we went on the cruise, so that we would, what I had worn the previous few days, we were able to rewear if we needed to. But next to that was also a quiet pool. So when Disney has resorts that are this large, this is a very large resort. There is usually a main pool, but there is also smaller pools located throughout the resort, and they just call them quiet pools. And we were next door to one of those, which was very handy. So, and then there was this beautiful fountain that was, it was in a walkway basically that we used to get to the bus stop. So very lovely resort. It was a very nice stay, and even though we were riding a bus, we were at least very close to the bus stop. So make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see the videos that are coming out about the rest of our vacation and our day at Disney at Hollywood Studios, along with our 4-day cruise to the Bahamas. We had 2 stops. We stopped at Nassau, Bahamas, and then we stopped at Perfect Day at Coco Cay. So stay tuned for those upcoming videos. And if you would like some help planning your next vacation, make sure to check out the link in the description box below. It's a link to a complimentary consultation where we will just have the opportunity to get to know each other. It's just either a Zoom call if you'd like to do it face-to-face, or we can do it over the phone. Get to know you, you get to know us, and we get the opportunity to make your vacation dreams come true. Until next time, have a great day. Bye everyone.